Alright, everybody. This is Sea Lord Janda here. Welcome back to Rule the Waves 3 as the United States. The year is 1896. We are at peace. Our navy by now consists of 6 battleships. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 armored cruisers. 5 light cruisers, and a gaggle of destroyers, which I could have seen more easily by going into the almanac. I forgot to put my camera up. We can fix that real quick. There we go. So the plan for today is just making sure my camera's all good and everything. The plan for today is we are going to try to provoke Spain into another war because they still own Puerto Rico and Guantanamo Bay following our previous war, and maybe I could grab some stuff in the Central Pacific from them too. To take everything the U.S. historically did is actually going to be pretty annoyingly difficult, but not impossible. Our fleet is now, for the most part, a match for theirs, so I'm somewhat confident of it. We need more destroyers by about 10 to 20, but we don't really have the funding just yet. Currently, we are building 1 new light cruiser and 3 armored cruisers of our new Memphis class. I'm hoping once we get those built that we can try to phase the New York class out of service as quickly as possible, or else maybe heavily refit them into like a fast colonial cruiser of some sort. Because I just do not trust them in the line of battle against any reasonable opponent. Now, before I would only fight Spain. I think now that we would have a fighting chance against maybe, say, certainly Japan, perhaps Russia or France, if it came to that. But except for maybe Japan, they don't really have anything useful for me to grab. France, perhaps, too, yeah. We could take the Antilles. So we're just going to power on and see what happens at this point. Okay, everyone's building destroyers like madmen. Oh yeah, we are still building... Oh, great. I mean, they're right, but damn politicians. Lyddite bursting charges. That was... I am in the habit of clicking through these things too quickly. That's increase in shell damage, which is good. Yeah, I might have to just... I don't like the idea of clicking yes to all of that, but I really probably should. Austria-Hungary and Russia have signed an alliance. That is ahistorical, but not unreasonable. I mean, they flirted with an alliance. There was a 3 Emperors League in the 1870s or 80s. It's not unreasonable for them to ally. I mean, Austria-Hungary had fought a war with Germany pretty recently still. And they both hated the Ottoman Empire, so... Okay, we're about to finish Raleigh. Ooh, another round of fighting has broken out among the Balkan nations. What should our reaction be? I wonder what they're serving for dinner at the flag officers' mess. Do I want to specifically blame any of these powers? Not really. The only one that would make France or Russia, but I wonder what they're serving for dinner at the flag officers' mess. There's not enough to gain from a war with France or Russia right now. I want Spain or Japan. Really, I just want Spain again. Japan, maybe. We could grab... We acquired the Liaotong Peninsula via a random event. If we did go to war with Japan, maybe we could grab Southern Korea, although it would probably be a very costly fight. On the other hand, although they have these three very nice battleships now, they also have the other half of their battle line is not really battleships, so we would definitely have a good fighting chance against them. Okay, so Raleigh is completed. I'm going to officially put the Michigans into reserve because I don't care if they're really combat ready. The New Yorks I have to keep in active service because they're serving our colonial duties, but other than that, I mean, we're not terribly close to a war, and I don't expect one, but I hate keeping too many of our ships off of active duty. It's definitely not optimal, though. For anybody looking for advice, it is actually pretty optimal to put a lot of your ships in reserve for mothballs when you're not at war. Just doesn't sit right with me. We're going to build about 10 more destroyers. Fortunately, these 300-tonners are extremely cheap. Okay, no. That would have been a mistake if we'd invented 400-ton destroyers, but we haven't, so... That's going to be a problem soon, but we haven't. Oh. Success is eluding our scientists on exactly that issue. Yeah, no tensions worth mentioning so far, really. Oh. Japan has occupied Shanghai after a brief war. Yeah, we might need a war with Japan, too. A scandal involving some important dignitaries from Austria-Hungary has occurred at a party given on a world cruise by one of your ships. I mean, honestly, we might as well hush it up, because I have zero interest in a war with Austria-Hungary. Neither of us can remotely threaten the other. They only have bases here in the Adriatic Sea. We have bases in a lot more places. But they have nothing that we want at all. And we can't base anything in the Mediterranean to threaten them, so it's completely pointless to fight them. Naval visit from France. Comment on the ships. These rust buckets with indifferently trained sailors and indolent officers are no match for our navy. Oh, if Japan and Russia go to war, that could maybe be an opportunity for us. Let's see. Okay, Italy and France have an alliance. Okay, so we probably shouldn't fight France. Austria-Hungary and Russia have an alliance. And then, yeah, Japan and Russia are very close to war. The Memphis class is well underway. We need to keep... We can't afford to keep building docks because I built all these destroyers instead. But 15,000 tons is not bad. That's a little heavier than the displacement of our current battleships. To the point that I wonder... Alright, time to check this. Is 15,000 tons enough to build a battleship that actually... In fact, hold on, let me make sure I know the stats of these. These make 17 knots, 4 12-inch, 10 5-inch, 12-inch belt. Now that's... Apparently the game doesn't really, or uses like some sort of... Let me restart that. Historically, in the 1890s, there were some very, very thick armor measurements going around, especially at the start of the decade, because they were using various compound steels, or even Harvey armor got very thick sometimes. And then Krupp armor came out, I believe, later in the 1890s, which resulted in literal thicknesses of steel, like halving or more, while providing better protection still. I think in the game, all the thicknesses are still just measured in, like, equivalent thicknesses of Krupp armor, or just, like, ignored. Everybody is running, like, 10.5 or 13-inch. Well, that's not entirely true. The British have some things. What do the new Caesar class have? 7.5-inch. In all honesty, our 12.5-inch belts are pretty thick. or 12-inch belts, but I would probably stick with them nonetheless. We'll see what everybody else is built, or we'll see what it says in our gun data here. Yeah, see, people are starting to be able to penetrate greater than 9 inches of armor. I think if we want our ships to actually stay relevant for a little while, that we should probably go for at least the same armor as the old ships at a minimum. We still don't have any torpedo defense, I don't think, which, yeah, makes sense. Okay. 13-inch guns. Do we try to slap 13-inch guns on it? Well, maybe. Okay, but my first priority is to get this a proper number of secondaries. This is a pre-dreadnought. It should probably have a heavy weight of secondaries. Right. So I think we're in the pre-dreadnought era properly now. Okay. Thing is, the other ships... Oh, that's an issue. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, the Oklahoma class getting 17 knots was actually a fluke. I designed them for 16, and they got an event that gave them 17 faster than anticipated. To actually make our whole battle line 17 knots is going to be pretty tough in this year if we really want quality elsewhere. I think that I like this design pretty well. Okay. Like, why 198? I don't know, that just felt ridiculous to me. Okay, can't carry more. 90 is kind of not a lot of ammo, but it is the main guns. They're really slow firing in this era, so... I don't think we can put turrets. Well, it costs 20% rate of fire, but it's actually not that bad, but... We'll stick with casemates, and maybe we can refit turrets on when we've developed better tech for it. Okay. This is actually a pretty decent battleship design on 15,000 tons. I don't think we can skimp at all. Whoopsies. No. But on exactly what our shipyards can handle, our first home-built pre-dreadnoughts of the 1890s. Yes, it's got 1 knot less speed, but the upgrade to 7-inch secondaries, the heavy tertiaries, maintaining the same or better armor. I think this is a pretty solid pre-dreadnought. So I'm going to go ahead and start building them. Oh, right, our budget will be in the red. That is fine. I'll just have to pause this for a month or something. Japan wants to buy improved smokeless powder. That's pretty good, actually. I'm going to not sell it because we might go to war with them. Even though our tension is pretty much 0, but... War with Russia... The only thing we might take from Russia in a war is Kamchatka. I mean, it would at least let us blood the fleet, or maybe like Sakhalin or something, but... I mean, it would let us blood the fleet a little, but it's not... Neither Kamchatka nor Sakhalin is really worth a whole lot, obviously. If it happened, it happened. I mean... In the interest of preventing this from being super boring, we might go for it if nothing happens with Spain or Japan pretty quickly anyway. Okay, spectacular. Wow, a lot of 2-inch guns they crammed on this. However, I don't... Oh, it does have 2 torpedo tubes. Those are much more heavily armed than my destroyers. In fact, I'm really not sure how they crammed all that into there. Assuming it's accurate, it's not always. Let's do a little intel collection on Russia and maybe a little more on Japan. I resumed Charlotte, right? Yeah. We will need to wait for the Memphis class to complete before we actually start building the Arizonas, but it's only going to be a couple months. There has been an uprising in a South American country in the focus of great power colonial ambitions. We need to send a force to evacuate our nationals and protect our interests. What size should it be? Well, we do happen to be, there's this thing called the Monroe Doctrine. So I'm going to send a battleship, and Europe can go to hell. Oh, God, that really pissed Europe off so much. Okay. Well, let's see. We don't have enough money to build Arizona yet, but give it 2 more months, and maybe we try to avoid war with Britain, France, and Russia simultaneously, eh? No more stunts with battleships to Columbia. 3 destroyers commissioned, good. Range tables for accuracy, good. Germany and Britain are both spending more money because they hate each other, probably. We need to build up this monthly surplus a little. Nonetheless, I'm going to start building bigger docks again, but... okay. Alright, Salt Lake City and Memphis have been commissioned. Oh, boy. Oh, God. I'm going to do this because I really don't want to actually start a war with all of Europe. Okay, it's pretty close. Why? These are the countries I want to piss off, and they're delighted with us. Japan and Spain, relations have never been better. We're on the brink of an alliance, basically. Meanwhile, Britain, who under no circumstances do I want to fight, absolutely furious with us, and so are Russia. Alright, well, we did just complete, where are they? Memphis and Salt Lake City, which are, the newest and finest armored cruisers in the water. Their guns don't fit on them, but that is fine. They're actually a little less armored than their predecessors, but the extra knot and the heavier armament is worth it, I think. Armor penetration is still really bad in this era. I'm going to designate them the, let's see here. I need to create the division here, don't I? Not BC, CA. Second Armored Cruiser Division, aka 2CA Division. And probably DV, right? I can't remember how it was. And you will get these 2. The Pittsburghs... okay, the Pittsburghs are almost all in the East Coast, except Pittsburgh herself is in the West. The New Yorks... okay, first priority now. I think... yeah, we need more battleships. I mean, our battle line doesn't even really match Spain's in numbers. I think we could probably win a head-to-head fight. I mean, these 2 with that armor are pretty good, but most of their fleet is these, which are not. Still have impressive armor, but their guns are really weak. But they have one more than us, and everybody else except Japan has way more, so we need to build more battleships, yeah. We just need to pour out, like, several Arizona-class battleships in quick succession here. Probably about 4. If not more than that, even. Sorry about bumping my mic there. And hope we don't go to war with Russia in the process. Well, I was gonna fight Japan, but honestly, yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. So we've agreed to cooperate with Japan. War has broken out between Japan and Russia. Additional funding for the Navy. That's something. Scientists are not achieving rangefinders. Rate of fire improvement for double turrets. Well, that's good. And immediately, the Japanese have sunk the Russian armored cruiser Osliabia, and the protected cruiser Veliki Knyaz Konstantin. So I'm going to assume they did a preemptive strike because that's what Russia does, or I mean what Japan does. Japan is heavily, obviously this is basically the Russo-Japanese war, but 7 years early, and I don't know. I mean, Russia's navy historically had a lot of problems, but what I'm seeing in game mostly is that Russia has 3 times as many battleships as Japan, and half of Japan's battleships are these gunboats, or, yeah, monitors. I don't even know what to call them, but they're bad. Of course, Russia has a lot of these, which are pretty puny battleships themselves, but at least they've got 12-inch guns. And these latest things are... Actually, they're really goddamn weird, because look at this... look at this turret arrangement. Side-by-side 12-inch guns. I mean, if you're going to put more turrets onto a pre-dreadnought, at least go with, like, the wing guns on the sides, and then you have 8. This design is just strange, although I'm sure it helps them fit the weight, but still. Russia's battleships are all kind of weird. I mean, Japan's new class here is probably better than all of them, although, despite the heavy armament, this belt armor is very thin. So Japan has sort of built proto-battle cruisers or something there, but I wouldn't really bet on them. However, Russia's actual Pacific fleet is definitely outnumbered, so they'll need to do that whole, sail all the way around the world thing if they want to get more ships out there. Did they? Huh. They grabbed Hainan at some point in this game. I probably noticed that at the time. That is weird. Alright, well, we'll see how that war progresses. If we do go to war with Russia, that's acceptable to me. We can try to grab Kamchatka or something. A sudden slump in the economy has caused widespread unemployment and poverty and cutbacks in military spending. Well, the international situation is tense. I could literally cause a war again by saying this. I'm going to do it. Counter-flooding valves, damage control. Fantastic. Okay. We're probably going to go to war with Russia, which is fine as long as we don't go to war with Germany, Britain, and France as well. Or any of the 3. Russia themselves, I mean, as we just mentioned, their battleship fleet is much, much larger. And we don't have nearly enough light cruisers or protected cruisers either, but they're going to have real trouble basing anything in a place that actually threatens us. I mean, they have no bases anywhere near North America except for Kamchatka. So if the war does start, I'm just going to transfer a whole bunch of ships out to the northern Pacific. In fact, tell you what. Oh, I never discontinued this properly? Oh, God. Well, that is a screw-up, for sure. But, oh well. We have it at least now. We're trained. So what was I saying before I discovered that script? Oh, yeah. I'm going to preemptively dispatch a bunch of ships to the northern Pacific and Northeast Asia, because I think the war's probably going to happen. And I don't think they can base anything significant on our east coast, so I'm going to send... The way to do it, I honestly think, is to probably send... I know these aren't technically done working up, but I think they should be fine. So I'm going to take Montana and Illinois. And I'm going to take Memphis and Salt Lake City. And Baltimore and Raleigh, which I forgot to put into her division. And about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 destroyers. And I'm going to send that battle squadron to... let me think. The Northern Pacific, I guess. I was thinking whether Northern Pacific or Northeast Asia. We'll send them to the Northern Pacific first, and we can always shove them into Northeast Asia. That's only a brief move. And that will hopefully be our Pacific Battle Squadron. And if we can get it started while we're at peace, then maybe we can preempt having the same sort of experience Russia did. I mean, we just have to go around Cape Horn. Once we get over to here, we'll at least have bases to refit at if needed. Yeah, at this point, we might as well continue improving our cooperation with Japan. Improved torpedo aiming systems, more accurate torpedo launches. Good. War didn't start yet, but there's a very high chance of it starting any time. Like, it's over this line, it could just trigger randomly at any time, I'm pretty sure. What is under construction? 1 more Memphis, 2 Arizonas. The Arizonas might be done before the war ends if the war starts now, but they won't be ready for most of it. A lot of ships worked up. Good. I specifically mentioned that I had forgotten to assign Raleigh. Oh, and Cincinnati and San Francisco, apparently. Oh. Okay, but they're in the Pacific, so that's why. Raleigh, however, should get assigned to the Fleet Scout Division, yeah. And Illinois should really get assigned to the Battleship Squadron. A little bit of maintenance I've been neglecting here, clearly. But that shouldn't really be a problem. Do I need to assign the destroyers to a division? I don't really feel like I do. I mean, I only have 1 class, so it's not a big deal, whatever random assortment they end up on. Still can't figure out 400-ton destroyers. That's an issue. Still not at war with Russia, either. Where's our fleet now? It's off the west coast of South America. That's fine, I mean. If they make it there, then... Foreign policy crisis with France? That's not what I intended to do. I'm gonna avoid antagonizing France if I can. Oh, for God's sake. Alright. We're extremely close to war with both France and Russia. I'm gonna build another battleship. Should probably build 2 more, but I can't afford it yet. Oh. The battleship Illinois, which I'm pretty sure is one of the ones I just dispatched to the Pacific, has collided with an ocean liner and will be in dockyard hands for some months. It seems it was caused by an ill-judged maneuver by Captain Farber. Yeah, we're going to cashier Captain Farber, because it's his fault, and I don't know anything about him to suggest that he's that good. And I don't care to lose prestige. Can we uncheck retired and dead officers, please? Okay. Well, our active officer list has certainly grown. We have 2 admirals now. They don't even have anything to do, really, but they exist. And a whole bunch of rear admirals, way more than we have divisions. Fair enough. This guy's brilliant, even. He should probably be in charge of something. Maybe I'll spend prestige to reshuffle it if we do actually go to war. Still, success is eluding us on the 400-ton destroyer. How hard is it, people? Take a 300-ton destroyer, make it a little bigger. You understand? I know it's not quite that simple, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the world has figured it out. Well, Britain hasn't, so maybe it's a little difficult. Be hilarious to see a world where nobody ever figured out how to build a 400-ton destroyer. Okay, Charlotte has worked up. Tension with Russia increases as our power makes them apprehensive, and tension with Britain increases as our wealth and power makes them resent us. That sounds right. We're at 12 tension with Russia. Surely we should pretty much just be going to war. What happened to our budget there? It was better than that last month. The world economy has recovered. Well, that's something. Okay, this is an Austrian cruiser. It's not that good a cruiser, honestly. It's a little small and weak for being built in 1898. And I don't care what Austria does. Okay, I don't know how we're not at war with Russia. Clearly going over this line is not auto-war anymore, which I think it was in some of the previous games, but, like, we've been over this line for a long time now. Several months. New docks. Oh. Okay, this will probably start the war. A spy from Russia has discovered. We will give this maximum publicity, and this will be our casus belli, as they say. Probably. Yep. Thanks for watching, sailors. I hope you enjoyed the video. New parts should be up daily, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.